Sean has not lost a tournament this year in the United States. His only loss this year coming to you, Tony, in Ireland's Ulster Open. And that was with the Challenger Ball, a tournament you went on to win, defeating Owen Kennedy in the final.
That's right.
Sean has run through this draw, defeating Alan Garner fairly handily in the quarterfinals, and you in a thrilling match yesterday in the semifinal.
Yeah, he's really on top of his game, you know, and you know, I know he hasn't played. I don't think he has played Paul that much recently. Let me think. Did they play in the?
I believe their last match was at the U.S. Open.
Yeah, they played in the U.S.
this
Open.
Year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so whether he has or not, he's going to have a lot of confidence going in, because just on the back of all his wins, you know, and how well he's playing.
That was before Sean's rejuvenation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which seemed to have started after the first Championship Series event in Athens, Georgia, a tournament Sean lost fairly convincingly to Emmett the Rock Peugeot in the final. And since that match, he's been nearly untouchable.
Yes.
Losing only that one match that we spoke of in the Ulster Open to you. Coming back to defeat Emmett 4 times in a row since that match. We see here Tommy Little from Kansas City, Missouri is reffing this match. Looks like Paul's won the toss. Paul's going to serve first. Crowd is eagerly anticipating this match. We've got at least 500 people watching, along with thousands at home. Tony, I've noticed that we have the 2 hardest hitters in the game right now in the finals. Completely different styles as far as how they get their power, but
here are the introductions.
Let's give a round of applause for Sean Lenning.
It'll be interesting, Tony, to see who the crowd is supporting today. Paul has clearly established himself as a crowd favorite here.
County Calvin, Ireland. Let's give a round of applause for
I think
Brady.
the crowd are, you know, crowd here, they're never that one-sided, you know. They're all pretty fair, and they're here to see some good handball, you know. Most of the guys are pretty neutral, and I think they really want to see a good game. And you know, you've got 2 guys in great form, and I think you know, and talking to Paul, he's really ready for it. He knows he's up for a really tough challenge here, you know. So he's going to be ready. Sean is obviously playing great, so let's hope we have a great final.
All set? 0, serve 0.
Hander there by Paul.
Replay.
Sean likes to do that. He likes to try and kill that ball right in front of himself. If he doesn't put the ball down exactly how he wants, he knows he's going to get a replay.
Point.
Looked like a short serve to me.
Short, yeah.
Sean's going to appeal that.
2 serves. Short. Second serve.
Tommy missed that call there, but that's why we have our 2 linesmen, one on the side wall and one in the back wall.
Point.
It's a beautiful back wall drive by Paul right there.
What I noticed about Sean is in most of his games, he seems to start very casually. I don't know if that's on purpose, but he seems to like to stay very loose in the first couple of rallies. You think like this guy isn't trying that hard, but then he comes out with a shot like that.
Good call there by Paul. It's wonderful to see the emotion coming out of Sean Lenning. You can see he really wants to win. In fact, he was nearly brought to tears after defeating you yesterday, Tony.
Me too.
Beautiful hop serve there by Sean.
Side out.
That's where that's one of Paul's trademarks there, is that drive straight at the player, you know. Just drop that ball right 3-4 foot in front of his feet and just drive him back.
It doesn't hurt that it's nearly at 100 miles per hour. Reverse that ball down the left. Didn't quite hug the wall as much as he would have liked.
Point.
And that's just effortless power there by Paul.
Yeah, it's a poor return of serve, and you're never going to beat Paul with those kind of returns.
First serve.
Looks like Paul's not quite moving his feet as well as he would have liked. We saw yesterday Paul able to pick up nearly everything Nadia Alvarado Jr. hit.
Short.
Now, Tony, we talked about this earlier. You've played Sean 3 times in the last 4 months, so his game's not going to surprise you all that much, but this is only the 2nd time, I believe, that Paul and Sean have played. Do you think Sean will be able to surprise Paul with some of his unorthodox style?
Yeah, he does have Sean does have a lot of unorthodox play, and he's hard to read at times, especially if he's tight to the wall. You know, he stands in a, let's say, like a bike-like stance where he keeps that ball really close to him, and he can drive it straight down the walls. And you know, you get a player with a, let's say, a through sidearm stroke like Paul or Natty. They're standing back from the ball, so you can kind of get a good read of where that ball is going. But Sean is keeping that ball close to his body, and he's got this kind of whip motion. It's just his own style, really, but it's very hard to read. And
Replay that.
I've had difficulty with it. I'm sure Paul will at some stage during the game. Great serve there.
There's an ace serve there for Sean Lenning, reversing that ball down the left behind him.
Serves 2.
He's not even getting that low, and he's generating all that power.
Point.
There's another.
2 serves 2.
You see Paul standing up pretty far from the back wall, anticipating that drive serve.
2nd serve.
That's a very effective serve Sean likes to use on his 2nd serve. A modified Z hits that deep left crack. Very difficult to do anything with that return.
Side out.
Hand air there for Sean after a beautiful serve. Paul was able to punch that ball to the ceiling, but as we know, Tony, with that new ball, it's nearly impossible to punch that ball to the ceiling off the return of serve and keep it off the back wall.
It is. It's. I've even found in my own game, I'm starting to use an open hand return of serve to the ceiling, which I never thought I'd see myself doing, but that's what you got to do to keep it off that back wall.
You'll hear a lot of the handball greats stressing that punch to the ceiling off the return of serve, but
3 serves 3.
I don't think they're quite familiar with this new ball.
It's very tough to keep it up. You know, you'll see a lot of players hitting returns like Sean there. You know, just trying to pop it back up on the wall 5 or 6 feet high and just get it to slide it down by the walls.
As you can see here, there's no defense for this point from the great Paul Brady. Beautiful serve.
Point.
We've seen quite a few aces here, Tony.
Yeah.
In the early part of this game.
You would say they're usually trying to feel each other out. There's a few hand errors and all that, but the serving is good. They're really driving those serves down by the walls.
Looks like the adrenaline is at a little bit of velocity to each of their serves.
Side out.
It's uncharacteristic there from Paul, especially in the front court.
We probably won't see that again. Although I said that yesterday against Nottie, we saw Paul miss 3 or 4 of those. Looked like that could have been called a hinder, but Paul was able to pick that one up. I don't think he wants a hinder now.
No, I think Tommy gave him the shot too. Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about right there, Tony, with Sean likes to hit that ball right back at himself.
He's always looking on the return of his own serve, you know. He's always looking for that fly shot. He doesn't want to leave it back. He wants to drive it back at you, you know, which is a good thing, and it puts the opponent under pressure.
There we see a few ceiling shots. We're not going to see much of that today, though, Tony. These players like to drive that ball down the walls, look for every opportunity to end the rally.
Over.
It's a big call there by Tommy Little.
Paul will tell you firsthand that, you know, he hits overhand shots and ceiling shots, and he's only hitting them to get an opportunity to get the ball below his waist. That's the only reason, you know. He wants to get that ball down low and drive it.
Beautiful shot there by Sean. He really came over that ball with his right hand to keep that ball down.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he does that a lot. He's awkward positions. The people never go for a shot, and Sean gets them and pulls them off.
We see a lot, Tony, that Sean is willing to shoot that ball from anywhere if he feels comfortable with the shot, regardless of where his opponent's standing. He feels like he can put that ball down a half an inch high from anywhere on the court.
4 serves 5.
He does, and the tendency is that he gets runs of good points, then he gets runs of 4 and 5 in a rally, you know, doing that.
See Sean pop that ball to the ceiling.
That's the whip from Paul.
Side out.
Paul's got so much variety to his game, so many different shots to choose from. You can never be comfortable against Paul.
No, he's
Timeout, Paul.
he usually goes all out on power and, you know, drives that ball at you, drives it down the sides, and if you can match that and if you can get close to him, well, then he'll start mixing it up, you know. So he has many dimensions to his game, you know. But Sean is something new to him here. You know, a different style, different array of shots. You know, a different player on the court. He's very unorthodox, you know. So maybe that's why this game is a little bit unsettled at the moment, you know. It takes a bit of time for the players to get into it.
The question is, can Sean's best game beat Paul's best game here today?
20 seconds.
Paul has a way of really neutralizing all of his opponents with his speed and also his tremendous power.
All set. 5 serves 4.
Looks like Sean's trying to make sure Paul doesn't get too much confidence and rhythm right here. Called a timeout there.
There's that.
Side out.
Paul skipped that one.
Came right into the middle of the court, you know. It even came so much, don't think Paul was expecting it.
4 serves 5.
At 4-5, Sean must be happy, you know, his first national finals.
Second serve.
Still hasn't got into the match, and he's right there, you know.
Paul's not quite as sharp off the back wall as he'd like to be thus far in the match.
Side out.
Sean knows he had a good opportunity to fly that ball down the
5
left.
serves 4.
Yeah, when you hear Sean going like that, he used to get a lot more frustrated in his younger days, but he seems to have a lot more control and regains his composure very, very quickly, you know. May hit a bad shot, but gets back into the rally. Great shot there from Paul.
Phenomenal shot. And that's his offhand, Tony, if there is such a
6
thing
serves
with Paul
4.
Brady.
Great reverse. 2 great shots there from Sean.
Looked like Paul wanted to hinder there. I don't think he had any chance at that ball.
I think it stuck to the side wall, just went straight down, yeah. Paul was reading that it may have come off the side wall, you know.
These great players think they can get to everything now.
Yeah.
Side out.
Nice pass there. Paul had the whole court.
This is what Sean Lenning's going to have to avoid, trying to shoot right in front of Paul from up above his shoulders. We've seen him do that successfully throughout this tournament, but I don't believe that he'll be able to consistently win points from those spots.
Hard to know. Sean's very good at trading up front because his hands are so fast and he's so quicker on the short lines, but Paul is equally as good up the front, if not better, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised if, with the way they shoot, you'll get a lot of rallies being traded up in that front short line.
Point.
We've seen a lot of success with that Z serve throughout this tournament. Do you think the new ball has something to do with that? We've seen a lot of balls coming straight out on that back wall.
Yeah, and I think the fact, you know, the ball, when you've got a glass wall there, it really bites into it. Just like if you're hitting a lob serve down the left there, it's very hard because the ball kind of bites into that glass wall, you know. There's Paul waiting for the opportunity to get it below his waist again.
Side out.
And you can see once Sean's able to assume position in that front court, he can really dictate the point.
4 serve 7.
Great hop there, Sean.
Phenomenal.
You can't read those hops that Sean hits because it's so close to his body, similar to what John Bike hits.
Beautiful adjustment on that ball. Looked like Paul might have gotten a little bit lucky with that ball coming straight out, and Sean's able to control his body and roll that ball out.
5 serve 7.
Great shot.
We saw Paul go to the fist return to the ceiling there.
Yeah, you
And
can
that
see
ball came
Sean was
15
always going to
feet.
shoot it, you know.
Serve 7.
As soon as it popped up in the air, that's all he was thinking about. That's the way he plays, you know. Just short.
We heard Sean in the interview yesterday. Plays virtually the same game against the 50 and 60-year-olds he grew up playing as he does here in the USHA 4-wall national final. Not afraid to hit any shot at any time.
Yeah, he's fearless in there. He plays his game and he goes for his shots, and it looks like if they don't go his way, well, he's happy with that, you know.
Sean's got a very underrated serve. Able to hit it to the left and the right with hop.
Point.
And there's that serve we're talking about that he uses on his second serve, that deep left wall crack.
7 serve 7.
For a second serve, it's so effective. It keeps you deep. Comes off that wall low.
Side out.
Poor serve on that occasion.
You're not going to win many points serving Paul's right hand off the back wall.
No, Paul has a tendency to, you always go for that shot. You know, it's going to go so fast. It's going so hard. What are you going to do? You know, he doesn't have to kill it.
Paul's able to hit the ball so hard, and he's able to win a lot of points with a passing shot. You'll see most pros able to retrieve almost any passing shot, but Paul's able to
8 serve 7.
Be very offensive with those passes.
Short.
Short ball.
Looked like that serve might have been good. We'll see what our two line judges have to say.
Both agree.
8-7 here to Paul.
Sean had a couple of opportunities in that point, unable to seize them.
It's loose from both, you know. Paul usually doesn't need a second opportunity on that. Sean wouldn't be happy that when he got the opportunity, he didn't put it away, so.
Looks to me like Sean might be trying a little bit too hard to stay calm. Might be a little bit flat right now. Trying to work his way into this match. We know he's a veteran, but he's still in his first ever USHA 4-wall national final.
Point.
Those nerves do some funny things to your legs, don't they, Tony?
Oh, for sure, yeah. You know, I guess his style of play is that he looks relaxed anyway, but you definitely notice as games get tight, he gets into it more, you know, and I don't think he has really got into this game yet. But in saying that, Paul is not dominating like he would like to either. I know if in Paul's head 10 minutes before this game, he would have been looking to get out and be, you know, really, really gone from Sean, really dominating from the start. But that's not happening either.
Side out.
We saw Sean show quite a bit of emotion yesterday against you, Tony, especially when he was trailing 10-0 in that second game. I think that actually helped his game. I think he's one of the few players we have who can turn his anger into a positive.
Yeah, that's one of the things that has changed around in his game. He can pick himself up now, and he's an all-round tough opponent. He's very mentally strong, and he'll need to be in here.
Check the ball.
Paul's looking for an avoidable there. Didn't look like Sean gave him too much room.
Sean was close, but it's not close enough for an avoidable, really.
Replay. 10 serve 7.
I think Sean has to gain a lot of confidence for staying with Paul here. Looks like Paul's really got his game turned up.
That was a short serve to me.
Good. Both disagree.
That looked like a screen and a short, so it looked like Tommy missed on both accounts there.
Pretty sure it was a short. But this second serve is effective too, I think. You know, both players' second serves are pretty good.
Beautiful retrieve.
Point.
I don't know, like when Sean...
11 serve 7.
You can see how far Paul has Sean behind him there. Just an easy opportunity for him.
When Sean is into that game, you know, when he's really in the game, he is going for everything up front, you know. He's killing himself to get at that ball. It's kind of a half-hearted effort on that last point.
We've seen each player hit by the ball 4 or 5 times early in this match. There's that modified Irish whip from Paul.
tough rally here.
Point.
Paul is really relentless in there. Every ball with so much power. Even falling back there, he's able to fire that ball into the corner.
It was a tough shot for Sean to go for in that situation, but he makes a lot of those, so.
Looks like Paul thinks that Z serve is working.
Over. He had to go over you.
Excellent call there by
got a
Tommy.
hand on it.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Paul was there, all right. Unorthodox rally.
How's the floor up there?
It looks to me like Paul is frustrating Sean a lot of the same way he did Donati yesterday, retrieving every shot. And you know that can really wear on your mind as a player, Tony.
Yeah, you don't see Paul diving around that much.
Replay.
You don't see him
12
scrambling
for
for shots that much, but it's because he's there maybe a second faster, you know, than a lot of players, you know. He doesn't ever seem to be under that much pressure getting to the ball. It's a great way to be.
Point.
But when you know every one of your shots has to be so perfect and your kills have to be so low.
Timeout.
It's a great kill there.
Timeout, Sean Lenning, 1 minute. We're coming back in at 13, serve 7.
Paul looks so in control right now, so focused. We get a shot of the crowd here.
I guess we.
15-7.
I'm sorry, Tony. What do you think Sean needs to do to turn this game around?
He still looks to me like he hasn't really got into the game. Like when I
think a lot of people will say that when they play Paul.
Yeah.
Even once the match is over.
There's a body language that Sean has when he's into the game, that he's really, really fired and
20 seconds.
He's driving at the ball. You know, I think Paul is just staying in control and doing enough to, you know, to stay ahead right now. I don't think Paul will be that happy with himself. You know, he's made a lot of hand errors. But yet he's, 6 points up, and in the position where he wants to be. Paul wants to be in the front, you know, give him a whiff of being in the front, and he's trying to pull ahead, you know. So until Sean gets anywhere closer to him, Paul's going to keep pushing that lead ahead, looking for two more.
Sean's not out of this game yet, though.
No,
as we've seen, Sean's able to run off 6, 7, 10 points against the best players in the world at any time.
There's Sean just flying anything. You know, he doesn't want to leave it back.
Side up.
That's the Sean Lenning we saw in the first 3 rounds of this tournament.
Yeah, like, that's an amazing shot, you know, from waist high with his left hand across the court, but he makes those time and time again.
Is he trying to hit that shot into the corner, or is he trying to hit that front wall, side wall, Tony?
I think he usually goes side wall, front wall with them, you know, and they seem to be the ones that work for him the most. But he tries them from any position, you know. It seems like a crazy shot to go for, but it's a good percentage for them because he makes a lot of them.
Very interesting serve there. Actually made Paul Brady look a little bit awkward, which you may never see.
It's a great shot there, great kill. Here's where Sean is dangerous, you know. Gets a bad return of serve. He's just going to shoot it. You just know he's going to shoot it. And he gets a lot of confidence from him. That's a good 2-all deep serve again. Poor return from Paul. Oh.
Side out.
Looked like he thought it was going to make the front wall.
We've seen Sean make some phenomenal shots from that position. Unfortunately there.
13 serves 9.
Skip that ball in. Looks like Sean has really found a serve, though, that's bothering Paul.
Yeah, that deep serve.
Point.
Beautiful drive there by Paul. Sean tried to fist that ball straight back down the left wall.
Sean was there. He got the hand on it, but just didn't get it back up on the wall.
14 serves 9.
Paul's going to try and make a few here and then finish that out. You'll
Paul's
notice
sticking with that drive serve. We've seen him have a lot of success with that Z serve.
Yeah, you'll always notice with Paul when he gets around 14, 15, the intensity picks up and the power picks up. And,
so many gears to this great champion.
Yeah, he's looking for the finish line right now, even at 14. It's a poor seating shot there.
Is it possible
Great
to hit a
flag,
good
yeah.
ceiling shot with this ball, Tony?
It's just, I guess players have to make an adjustment, you know. The ball travels so fast that you're hitting it you're hitting it hard, and it's low and hard, and the next thing it goes up in the air, and you have to hit a really, really slow, controlled shot. I think not many players have had much control over the ceiling shots, including the guys in here, you know. They don't hit them that much. Maybe Emmett is probably one of the guys that has the best control, because he's got great overhands and great control over the ball. Seems to play the ceiling play really well, no matter what court or what ball he's got.
I spoke to Emmett quite a bit about the strategy with the ceiling with this new ball. I think he feels like you need to hit it a little bit farther away from the front wall. We're used to just pinching that ceiling with the older ball. But I noticed that Emmett hits that ball a lot farther away from the front wall on the ceiling.
He does. You got to do that, yeah.
More towards the middle of the ceiling.
Sean sticking with that serve. I think it's a good return there from Paul. Oh.
Hand there from Sean, but he'll take it.
Yeah, it worked.
Paul left that ball up off the front wall, side wall.
That's a setup right there. Great angles there. A few of the players. May have been a replay. Yeah. Sean held up there. He played for the replay, but it was a replay.
Looked like a veteran move to me there, Tony. Tom wanted that shot, and when he didn't put it down, he looked up there at Tommy for the call.
Side out.
Sean's usually better on those fly shots. You know, he seems they're sticking up for Paul, you know, and you just can't do that, especially around the short lines with Paul.
2 timeouts remaining. 14 serves 12.
14-12. Nice return to serve from Sean. Here comes the shoot.
Over.
Oh no. What do you think, Dave?
Looked like that was a point.
Yeah, it looked like
Sean's not going to complain about that, though.
No.
Replay.
It's a tough call from our angle, though, Tony, because we couldn't quite see that sidewall there. That ball might have popped up off the sidewall. Tommy might have seen that. Certainly from our angle, it looked like a point.
Point.
Good serve from Paul. Little fake to the left.
Does he work on that fake, Tony?
I don't know. He hits them only very rarely. You know, usually you can kind of read where it's going, but it's just going so fast. I think Natty's got a better read on putting players the wrong way. Paul driving it back at Sean again. See, Sean just doesn't want to let that ball go back. You know, other players would back off that shot there. Sean just stands in. You know, he's got that arm close to him, and he just whips it back.
Sean can really feel Paul moving forward there.
Very, very effective shot.
I think we see that right there. Both players making an adjustment with that ceiling shot.
Yeah.
Side out.
You're never going to get any long ceiling rallies here. They're always going to end up with one player possibly overhitting, and then, you know, a shot opportunity, and the rally develops from there. But I think that suits both of these players. You'll see Sean, any ball that goes up in the air, he's just waiting for it to come down and take a shot at it. Paul is very, very similar.
15 serves 12.
Great pass down the right. Sean's passes down the right always have a bit of oomph on them as well. They don't just go straight down. He can dig them into the wall. He can run them down by the wall. He's got a lot of variety on that shot.
Sean's really starting to assert his game here now.
Yeah, it's a very good shot.
Looked like he was able to stay with Paul playing not quite his best. He's able to elevate his game just a little bit here. This first game could be his.
Side out.
I think a lot of people have said that if he can get that first game, he's got a chance.
Time out, Tony. Paul. Time out.
Paul's able to get this first game under his belt.
Second, coming back in at 1 minute.
It could be a three-peat. This is live coverage of the USHA four-wall national men's singles final, the 57th championship.
Okay, time's in.
This is David Fink sitting in with #1 ranked WPH pro Tony Healy.
Let's see what Paul does on the second serve here. He's going to mix it up and be a deep 2-all.
Interesting serve, took a little bit off that, almost like a change-up, Tony.
And what's interesting as well is Paul's letting a lot of those shots back. You know, he flies a lot more when he's in control and when his confidence is up. Great gets there. There's Sean, won't let it back. Here comes a shot from Paul. Drives it at Sean. Sean staying inside, wants to dominate the front court. It's a tough rally.
Very rare hander there by Paul. Beautiful point there by Sean.
Yeah, Sean's got a lot of control in the middle. I think his quick hands help him here, you know, where Paul makes a lot of points just driving at players and driving them back. Sean won't go back. You know, he wants to keep that front court position.
Sean's really able to shorten his swing up there in the front to give him a little bit more time. Sean wanted to dig that ball.
It was a nice pass.
But you see these players with the shorter swings in the front are able to react to those balls and cut those balls out of the air, despite Paul hitting that ball so hard.
Yeah, I think it might be something that, you know, to Sean's advantage when he's playing Paul is that, you know, his quick hands and he can adjust very quick and keeps the ball close to his body and has great reflexes in the front court.
We saw Nadi tied up numerous times yesterday in the front court with Paul's power.
Yeah.
Paul's not looking to take that return of serve out of the air as much as we've seen in the past. Beautiful kick kill there by Sean.
Uncharacteristically high kill attempt stuff on Paul, you know. He seems to be a little unsettled right now, and, you know,
13 serves 15.
Sean is still really, really in there and fighting very, very hard now.
Sean certainly does not seem overwhelmed by this occasion.
Not at all.
His first ever national singles final.
He's a lot of wins behind him this year. He's got a lot of confidence. He's playing like a guy who has just that, a lot of confidence and a lot of wins behind him. Here's a setup. Good get from Paul.
Furious action here.
Sean is good at Sean's great at varying the direction. You see him digging on the right-hand side to get at a shot. Yes, you know, normally players will just get that back up to the right wall. Sean changes the direction and moves it around. Great natural on that serve.
This is the handball that we expected to see from Sean.
Yeah, it's getting tight. Sean is pushing forward, holding the center court position, and I think Paul's not used to that.
We know this is Paul's third consecutive final. Actually won the first two fairly easily. We talked about his win over Danny Bell in 2005 and his win over Nadi Alvarado Jr. last year in 2006 in Las Cab. Really wasn't pushed in either of those finals.
No, and I guess if you look at the first games, I think his first game with Natty was a 21-1, and his first game with Danny Bell was I think maybe a 21-6 or something like that. So it's something new for Paul here as well. Okay, he's been here 3 times. This is his third final, but it's going to be tight now. These last few points are going to be really exciting. I think you'll see the intensity level come up now from both players. They're going to go really, really hard. Especially, I think you'll see a difference at Sean going for everything. Paul will get a lot more intense. You know that when Paul is challenged, he usually rises to the challenge, so his intensity level comes up.
Certainly we've been talking about Sean's current success, having won every tournament he's played on American soil since the start of this year, but Paul's been winning big tournaments for a number of years, traded Irish national singles championships with you, Tony. I believe you each have 4.
We each have 4, yeah. Paul's a champion, you know.
Certainly no stranger to this occasion and no stranger to close matches.
Paul is proven and tested to be a winner, you know. He has been in the intense situations. He has won the big finals. He hasn't shied away from any games, any opportunities. He's always in there fighting, and you know, he's just dominated the last 3 years, and you just in these kind of situations, you know, you have to say that he's always going to be the favorite, you know. he's got a great record in the last 2 or 3 years, and it's going to be very, very tough for any player to get on top of him in finals like that.
Let's not forget that Paul defeated Dave Chapman in the richest handball tournament of all time, the Ultimate Showdown, for $50,000.
All set.
Yeah, that was almost like the beginning of the end, the beginning for Paul and the end for David.
Absolutely.
David went on and won a great nationals after that, but you know,
sort of his swan song.
Exactly, and it was the start of Paul's rise to the top.
Sean's able to read that kill into the left corner.
Great get. Paul's trying to push him back now. Sean's just going to keep going for them. Sean takes that shot out of the right corner to re-kill into, or to kill into the right corner almost every time. But it's very hard to read. He makes it almost every single time. Now he's got an edge. He's got the lead. Ooh.
It's a very difficult shot, but it's a shot that Sean expects himself to make, and actually we expect him to make.
Yeah, it's tough going sidewall, front wall on those shots. You have to be really, really accurate.
Very precise.
Very precise. It's much easier to do a front wall, sidewall, but
excellent call there by Tommy.
I think you'll see Paul trying to drive that ball a little bit harder. You'll always see his power and intensity level come up in these situations. Still a good call, I guess.
I agree with that, Tommy.
Sean would have got the returning shot anyway, so Paul was screened.
You see both players getting a little bit tense here. Both players with opportunities to end rallies, unable to keep that ball down.
15 or 16.
15, 16. Paul's going to go with the Z again. Sean loves that shot as well, straight down the left with his left. Very, very tough shot to make. Great rally here. He moved around the court.
You see Sean took a little bit of contact there, but clearly wanted that shot. Able to dump that ball straight into the right corner.
Sean's confidence is picking up now. He's going to be very dangerous in this position. It's a short serve. You just can't read those hops with Sean either. Like I was saying, it's similar to bike stance, close to the body, and you just don't really know what the ball is going to do until the last second when it hops away from you. Great pass there for Paul.
That was a left-handed drive.
15 or 16.
A little bit of tension between the players now.
We're seeing Paul having a really difficult time getting that drive serve in the court. It's either being called for a screen or a short serve.
Yeah, a lot of shots today on that, all right, from Paul.
First serve.
Looks like he's very conscious of trying to keep that ball off the back wall.
Here's a setup. Good pick from Sean.
Point.
Had Sean in the defensive that entire rally. With a beautiful crack serve.
16 or 16.
16 each. It's a good serve. It was a good serve.
Rocket down the right there by Paul Brady. Able to retake the lead here.
Sean nearly got a hand on it. He was nearly there. Critical point of the match right now. Paul serving, just got a 1 point in the lead, and you know, we'll just try and drive ahead. If Sean can stay in there, we could go really, really down to the wire.
Beautiful control there by Sean with that fist. Very hard to believe that Sean missed that shot.
Yeah, it was a tough
Looked like
rally.
he might have just pulled his head up at the last second there.
Yeah, he was certainly there on time. He got his hand to it. You wouldn't bank on him missing those. He knows it. He knows it was an important one. Maybe he had two, like, he may have been between two minds. He had a kill shot or a pass shot. He had them both on. That's that great return from Sean. Left hand down the left. Paul flattens it.
Paul really stepped into that shot. Beautiful re-kill.
19 serve 16.
19-16. Sean driving the ball at Paul.
Phenomenal match up to this point.
16 serve 19.
Good serve. Ball's going to come off the setup.
Point.
I think we can't see from that camera angle, but I'm pretty sure that ball has a lot of hop on it when it comes down, especially down straight by the right ball. Sean's always putting a little something on it.
Just always keeping you off balance.
So it may look like Paul was there, but you don't really know that ball is really hopping as well. Sean changing the direction on the re-kill. Here's the setup. Is Paul looking for a replay?
Might be upset about 2 or 3 shots previous to that.
Second serve.
Oh, just got away from him.
Tremendous power and hop on that ball from Paul.
Yeah, left hand. I think he just got a little bit of reverse on top of that, and it just pulled away from Sean. He was there, but I think that just a little bit extra on the ball just pulled it away from him. 19-18, real tight now. Good drive back to court. Sean was there.
Sean played 2 excellent shots there. Paul still had an answer. Able to let that ball come off the side wall and the back wall and really drive that ball.
20 serves 18.
Went to his Irish whip.
Yeah, Paul likes that shot a lot. He still generates a lot of power with it. Oh, Paul went for it. I think Sean has one opportunity now and he knows it.
18 serves 20.
Serve.
Over.
Sean's not going to be happy with that.
That's a ball you're going to see Sean put away the majority of the time.
Replay. 18
He had the shot. It's back in. Some loose play there from Sean, giving Paul the setup.
We talked about this yesterday, Tony. When Sean was able to beat you at the NYC Championship Series this season, he really felt like he belonged on the court with the top players like yourself and Paul. And he's really showing it today.
20 serves 18.
Yeah, he's got a lot of confidence right now. Short serve from Paul.
Second serve.
Paul's throwing something different into the mix here now. Something typical of Paul in tight situations. Might just throw something new in there.
Change the speed.
Some great gets, moving around the court. Paul's going to shoot this one. Oh, he gets it.
Post game, Brady. 5 minutes.
Sean, you are, some say 21, some say 22, and I guess the reason why is because, hey, you just had a birthday, right?
Yeah, on the 18th. So
Okay, so you're 22 years young, and you celebrated the birthday just a couple weeks ago. Now you're here at the event, and you're in the finals. Now you're this guy that everyone thinks is like 30 years old because you started playing at such a young age. About 15 years old, you started winning some big events, and really you've been on the pro tour since the age of 16. So you're a seasoned veteran. You've been around the parts for a long time.
indeed.
Yeah, here's the thing though. A lot of people are commenting about the fact that uh, here you are as this cagey old veteran, but this is the first time you've been in a major final. What does this? Do you think that affects you, or is it just you going up against another person?
I'm super excited. I think I'll come out with some heaters for Paul. I'm I'm just excited. It's not going to affect my game, I don't think. I'm just adrenaline will start going and I'll feel good.
Over the last couple months now, you've had this little rejuvenation where you've played at a couple pro stops and basically made it to the finals of everything that you've played in, especially this year you have. What happened with that rejuvenation? A lot of people think that you're just lackadaisical and you go in there and just play this real easy style of game. Did you go back and rededicate yourself or start going to a gym?
I rededicated myself in my head, just coming out with a little more motivated, to win. Just gonna be better for me in the long run if I really go for it instead of. Sometimes I don't care either way, but now I get really upset if I'm losing, and I'm pumped.
That does actually. It's kind of difficult and to understand the mindset that goes through a professional handball player's mind or a professional athlete's mind. And sitting next to you, Sean, is Paul Brady, who's basically won every major tournament I can think of. As of late, and the only thing that he didn't win was the Irish Nationals, which you withdrew from. You're the current world champion. You won that tournament 2 times in a row. You're the current reigning national champion, going for a three-peat. You also won the U.S. Open and the Senior Championships in Ireland. And I know I'm missing another major out there, but sitting next to you, Sean, is Paul Brady, who also has that certain type of mindset that you were talking about. That you just re-tapped into for really what seems to be one of the first times of your career. Paul has that mindset. Does that affect you at all when you go in there and say, I'm playing a guy that has all these titles, or do you actually just look at it as I'm playing another guy, that's it?
I think if anything, it's inspiring. Have a guy that focused kind of motivated me because that's what it takes when you get to a certain level. A lot of it's in your head. It shouldn't be underestimated.
And one other quick one that's on that same line is, you're one of the guys that actually watches videos. You study Paul's game as well as Alan Garner's and everybody that you have on video, that we have on video. You've actually purchased and watched. I've seen you sit there for hours literally studying games. Do you find yourself a fan of the players as well as a friend and then also a competitor? And how do you draw the line when you go into the court?
That's a long question. Yeah, I like them all as friends and stuff. But when I get out there, I'm not worried about their feelings or anything.
It's understandable. It's kind of a tough thing because it is such a close community of these pro players. We all hang out and we travel together. We stay in the same hotel rooms. But then when you put the gloves on, you have to go out there and fight like a boxer. We always hear the people making the correlation between handball players and boxers. But one of the guys that certainly knows how to rise above, at least mentally, when it gets into the court is Paul Brady, and he's sitting right next to you. Paul, how are you going to prepare differently for this final than you did maybe last year or the year before?
I am going to prepare no differently. It's just, like you say, like a normal match. That's the way I'm going to treat it, and just going to do my best.
One thing I did notice that's a little different than last year is the fact that you're not playing doubles with Michael Finnegan, or you're not playing in the doubles match in the nationals. Is that? Do you think that's going to help you this time by not going both ways?
Not really, no, because the doubles doesn't start till after the singles final. So Michael Finnegan, he didn't come, so I just decided not to play doubles. There's no thought behind it. It's just he didn't come, so I didn't really want to get another doubles partner. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to help me either way. We both I've played the same amount of matches, so it makes no difference. I don't think so.
Here's a kind of a strange, interesting fact from the past. You actually played doubles together at a tournament in Las Vegas. As you look back and try to scope out some of the past matches you've had against Sean Lenning, and maybe even some of the matches that you've had together as doubles partners, what is it that you look at and say, has he changed a little bit as he grew older, or is there something that you might not know that he does, or are you scoping out his matches? How are you going to benefit from what you've learned from him as a player?
Well, obviously Sean is a very different player than he was. We played in Vegas in 2002, so he's 5 years older now. I don't think anyone ever doubted Sean's talent. Certainly of all the young Americans, I knew he had the most potential, and he was the most dangerous and the biggest threat. And just this year, it's a kind of it's proven that. Like I say, very talented, probably the most talented, I would say, of all the pro players. It comes so naturally to him. We probably have to work that bit harder. So, like I say, I'm just looking forward to the game, looking forward to the challenge. And like I say, he's matured so much in the last few years, and you could see him coming. You knew as soon as he applied himself, he was going to be a major threat. And like I say, you said earlier he's new to these finals. Well, he's won three championship series events this year, so he's not really that new. He's shown that he can win on the big stage. So I've just got to try to be at my best if I'm going to try and get a result.
One other question about Sean's game, just really briefly for you, and that is, we noticed that Sean, out of all the players that we see on the Pro Tour, is one of the very few that will actually take an unconventional shot and place it in the perfect spot offensively into maybe a corner for a kill shot or a pass shot. When you actually are playing back, Sean also knows that as well and will take shots from above the hip and shoot them for kill shots. How does that affect you when you think of the night before and you go, do I have to take a couple steps forward and try to position myself better with Sean, or do you just go out there and just flat out play your game?
I think that's a good point, but like you say, it's the latter there. I focus on playing my own game. Like I say, Sean is we're both probably unorthodox. We both have shots that other players don't have. So you kind of just try to adjust as the game goes on. But my focus is on myself always. If I'm at my best, I feel anyone will get hard to beat me. That's just the way that's what I focus on. Paul, Brady, and playing my best. After that, there's nothing else I can do. So what Sean's doing there's nothing I can do about that. I can only control what I do. So my focus is on myself.
And that's a good point. When you were playing Sean earlier against Tony Healy, it looked like you were just playing your game, just a smooth Sean that we've seen when you were in a championship series event playing a guy that might just be considered an A player, even an open player. You were finding a way to beat them exactly the same way that you beat Tony Healy. And it was interesting for us to try to see if you would actually alter your game against somebody that is really considered one of the top 2 or 3 players in the world right now. And it was nice to see that you actually just played the same style. In fact, knowing you from the past, when you are or growing up, you're playing against 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds at the club in Washington. You have the exact same style there as you do now. Do you think you adapted that style, that sort of shoot from the hip or make an offensive shot, putting yourself out of position? Is that something that was just established because you never were able to play a top pro player as you grew up?
I think it's more of just like my temperament, my personality. People play certain ways because they feel like it. I don't really think about it. It's just what I naturally feel like doing, ending the rally. Not much of a defensive minded, I guess.
So that same type of personality actually helped you out on a 3-wall court when you won the 3-wall nationals in Toledo one year. That sort of style of play, but you never really grew up playing 3-wall handball and were able to adapt to the 3-wall game. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here you're going to go back out to Toledo. You're going to play in the 3-wall nationals again, and now you're getting notoriety as being one of the top players in the world. Finally, the recognition that you deserve, at least I think. And do you feel that now there's more added pressure on you to go out there and try to go to maybe the 1-wall nationals, the 3-wall nationals, and try to hit all the championship series events? Or are you going to say, I'm going to take a little break after this tournament and see if I can maybe find a sponsor? What's your thoughts past this tournament?
I was going to go to all those tournaments anyways. I don't think there's any pressure for me to. I like 3-ball. 1-ball's okay, but it's nice city. Um, as Paul watches me. Yeah, but Toledo, I get excited for it. It's a really fun tournament. It's my favorite tournament, probably.
When you were playing Tony Healy earlier today, you had to have thought that going into this match that it could go to a tiebreaker, and you were going to try to eke out a tiebreaker win. I don't know what was going through your mind, but I'm saying that a lot of people are actually giving Tony Healy the win before the match even started. Do you feeling any of that? Did that actually help out in your mind, or did it actually fuel you a little bit to try harder?
As Paul said, I just think about myself. I knew I could win. I knew I was going to win. I really didn't want to go to a tiebreaker, so I didn't just give him that second game. I really pressed, and glad I did.
In 2006, you played Paul Brady. I believe it was at the U.S. Open, and he eliminated you. I'm going to go ahead and guess the scores were like 13-6.
Yeah, I'm bad with scores, something like that.
Does that sound about right?
7.
Okay, so you played him before. Back then, you weren't dedicating yourself like you are now. When you look at his game, is there something on film or even in person? Is there anything that you think that you can do to overcome those hard serves with this brand new ball? I mean, certainly you played him right when the ball was pretty much invented, the new fast, lively ball. Do you think the ability that you've had to go out there and practice with this ball, is that going to benefit you, do you think?
Yeah, I've seen a lot more serves, power serves since then, but I don't know. You just have to, I don't know, fight the fire. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna try my best. But I've been playing with Luis Moreno in Tucson, and he hits the ball real low like Paul does. So I might be more used to it, but still gonna be tough.
Paul, this is a great question for the Irish players. You're sitting there with this challenger ball, which in my mind feels a little bit heavier, but it's also slower in the fact that it's not as lively as this ball that we're using right now. Do you find it hard to fly all the way over here across the country and then to change the ball and the atmosphere is different? Is that something that you have to really get yourself up for? How hard is that for you?
I suppose it goes back to what I can control. I can't control the ball. I just adjust, keep focusing on what I can do, and there's nothing I can do about the ball. I just play with it. So again, it just goes back to focusing on what I can control, and that's myself and my own game. So it doesn't matter what ball I use, I'll just adjust, and it's the same for me as it is for Sean. So you just adjust and get on with it, really.
Right. You just have to play with what's given to you. These courts are nice and lively. Do you like what's going on with the courts here? Is that side glass wall giving you any troubles at all, Sean?
No, I like it. I like the audience participation and stuff. It's nice. I like a lot of people watching. It's
Sidewall glass, does that bug you any bit? The crowds, everything seemed to be okay. True bounce.
Fine, yeah. Like it's the same size as any other court, and you just you just adjust and get on with it. And
the experience here in the United States this time around, are you enjoying it this time? I've noticed that you've gone to the same place to eat 4 nights in a row now.
And I'll be going there again tonight.
There you go. Is that Lorraine's? Is that the name of the place? Lorraine's. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up. Any predictions for tomorrow's match?
It's going to be a barn burner.
We have two contrasting styles here, but yet so similar in a way, because I see that Paul Brady has this sort of Irish whip, this little modified Irish whip thing that you do. And then Sean just lives on those little left-handed paddle Irish whip shots that are almost identical. Both of the players take unorthodox shots from anywhere on the court that are actually offensive shots, which we don't really see a lot of other players do. Not a lot of resetting the game to get back into position. It's just, my guy's out of position, I'm going to take the shot. That takes a lot of confidence. Are you going to have a prediction for us about what's going to happen here, like scores? Can you?
I don't think it's going to be the same as the last time anyway. I hope it is, but I doubt it. Sean is obviously playing much better, but I'm not into predictions. I just want that title again, and I don't care if it's 11-10 tiebreaker or what way it happens. I'm just focusing on getting that win, and no prediction.
Okay, congratulations to both of you for making it to the finals this year. Can we shake hands?
Thank you.
One serve 6.
Sean moves very well side to side, up in the front court, running to the right, running to the left. Can pull the shots on the run, make great kills on the run.
As we see these ceiling shots need to be even. Did you see that, Tony?
Oh,
Point. I gave you both your shots.
be an interesting to see a replay on that. I think
Paul hit that ball between his legs.
he just kind of saw it at the last minute, so he thought he should have got a hinder on that ball.
I gave you both your shots, Paul. Just play ball.
Tommy's sticking to his call here.
2 serve 6.
Close.
Paul was able to read that reverse. I think we're seeing Paul adjust to Sean's game right here, Tony.
He is, yeah. When you see Paul moving in, you know, a lot more and cutting off that ball a lot more, you know his confidence is up. Served on the right. Ooh, I think that
Down. Side out.
Looks like Paul's really
Paul may have been looking for a call there as well.
trying to take the offensive here right off the return of serve.
Short. Foot fault. Front foot. Foot fault.
Foot fault there, called by Tommy.
Just stepped over that front line. As you
Second
know,
serve.
Tony, you have to stay in between that server's box.
That's right, yeah. And if a ref calls it, it's a very hard call to appeal because usually the linesmen are just paying attention to the shorts.
Absolutely.
Set up there from Sean. That's a poor shot. He's trying to hit an overhand fist fly kill. You know, it's a very, very high percentage, and you know a lot can go wrong, as it did right there, straight out the middle.
6 serves 2.
You know, that's just like ice cream for Paul.
I've seen Sean use that fist a little bit too much, in my opinion, especially here in the beginning of this second game.
Second serve.
As you can see, Paul didn't hit that ball nearly high enough or hard enough to get that ball back to the back wall. Just an easy setup there for Sean. As we're going to see this on the
Great
replay.
shot, you know.
At 36 feet away with his left hand.
It's a great
able to
shot.
roll that ball out.
Great get from Paul.
As you can see, Sean's not wasting any time here.
Oh, he's got this momentum back now again. Paul had a couple of opportunities in that rally. He didn't finish it, but
Tony, you played Sean a number of times. When you see him start playing a little bit faster like this,
Side out.
I think that's a sign of confidence, or is that a sign of a little bit of desperation?
no, it's confidence. He seems to get more intense and pick up his pace and gets runs of good points.
6
So
serves 3.
he seems to be getting a lot back, getting back into this game here. It wasn't the best of starts for him.
Certainly don't want to spot our two-time defending USHA national champion a 7-2 lead in the second game after you've lost a very closely contested first.
7 serves 3.
Great kill there from Paul. No, Paul is a player that loves to play from the lead, you know.
Don't we all, though, Tony? Beautiful corner kill.
Corner kill, yeah, but other players leave up the lead a lot, you know. What was surprising there was that I think Sean led the first game at 16-15. Was the first time he led. But Paul still pulled it back. But when Paul's in the lead, it's very, very hard to pull the lead off him.
Paul's concentration gets even sharper with the lead, whereas we'll see a lot of players maybe lose some focus when they jump out to a big lead.
Yes. Nice return of serve there from Sean. It's a good ceiling shot, good control.
You saw Paul take that ball off the back wall for the majority of the first game. He took that ball out of the air. There's a shot we saw Sean hit very successfully against you yesterday.
It's a good drive. Ooh.
Side out.
I might have spoken too soon there, Tony, about Sean overusing that overhand fist.
I know, but he makes so many of those great shots.
3 serves 8.
When it goes wrong for him, it goes wrong, but
Side out.
when it goes right, it can go very, very right.
Sean needs to get back into his game right now.
8 serves 3.
Serve from Paul. Great kill.
Point.
Off balance, left hand.
I think Sean can really sense this intensity emanating from
9
Paul.
serves 3.
Paul just made an adjustment there. It was just going away from him. He's very, very quick to do that. He can adjust very, very quickly.
You can feel a
Second
difference,
serve.
certainly in Paul's demeanor in this game compared to the first game. Really feels like he's into the match now. Seems very confident in himself.
Point.
We've seen Paul hit a couple of
It's a time.
below average Z serves that Sean hasn't been able to take advantage of here in this game.
That's your
Yeah,
second.
Sean probably
Coming
picked the
back
right
in
option. You know,
10
the Z
serves
serve
3.
wasn't very good, and
Absolutely.
Sean went out to cut it off and maybe drive it down the right or kill it. He just didn't get the shot. He didn't make the shot.
That's a very high percentage shot for him as well. We're watching two-time defending four-wall singles national champion Paul Brady and current world champion playing #1 ranked
Okay.
USHA
Time's in.
Challenge Championship Series #1 ranked pro Sean Lenning.
10 serves 3.
So what I'm saying, Tony, is that we have a lot of #1 ranked players here.
That's right. Whatever that means. I think the only one #1 that matters right here is the one that wins.
Absolutely.
I think you'll notice here as well from the first game, Paul has cut out an awful lot of the hand errors that he was making earlier in the first game. There are no hand errors now, and if they just go on errors alone, Sean is going to lose out. Great kill.
Side out.
Certainly, Tony, it's a lot easier for us to see here watching the monitor, but it seems to me that Paul's getting an awful lot of setups off that deep two-wall serve.
3
Yeah,
serves
he is.
10.
He is. But I guess maybe. Oh,
Side
just
out.
didn't get to it. Maybe Paul as well is aware how fast Sean is up front, you know, and maybe that's putting him off his kill a little bit. Sean nearly got to that behind his back.
It seems that
power there.
Sean really wants Paul to shoot in front of him. That's his game, able to re-kill those attempted kills. He's so long up there in the front, Tony. It seems like
Yeah.
he can get to everything. And he gets his hand on that ball, and he's really able to roll it out even from awkward positions. See
Tough
here,
rally there.
Paul pinches that ball in the right corner.
That's right, yeah.
Sean's just about a half a step off.
Yeah, Paul is dominating. He's dominating the front court now and not making any errors. Driving Sean back, waiting for his opportunities, and he's really on top now.
And as we know, Tony, whoever dominates that front court is going to win virtually every match.
Yeah, and Sean likes to be in there in the middle. He likes to stick on there in that front short line and dominate from there, but he just doesn't seem to be able to at the moment.
Very interesting in your match yesterday, Tony. I think you're accustomed to controlling that front court with phenomenal control of the handball, and it looked like Sean was really able to maintain his positioning there up in the front court.
Yeah, I was trying to drive him down the walls a lot, and it just wasn't working. He was running and re-killing an awful lot. He controlled the middle a lot better.
Probably the difference between you sitting here with me and
Second serve.
you playing this national final against Paul.
Here's a setup.
Point.
As you can see, we see a different Paul Brady here in this second game.
Yeah, that return of serve, you know, it just has no place here in the national final. Sean's really got to tidy those up. Oh, great shot from Sean. Off balance, leaning back. A lot of these shots that he takes look like they're very, very high percentages to be taking.
I I think he even surprised you with that shot there, Tony. As much as you've seen him play and played him, you can really never anticipate exactly what Sean's going to do.
Well, he gets them. He makes some great shots like that. A little bit of sloppy play up front there.
Extremely. This looked like a pickup game here, this rally. We'll see if Sean can end it here.
It's changing the direction.
That's a point.
It's not really a point either player's going to be all too proud of, Tony.
No, but they kept playing the rally. Sean won the... I think Paul got a bit distracted in the middle of the rally, but Sean kept his concentration and changed the direction on Paul a few times and pushed him down by the walls and won the point.
4 serves 12.
We hate to use cliches here on our live webcast, Tony, but you have to think that it's now or never for Sean. Trailing 5 to 12.
It's a great serve. There's 2, there's 6 to 12. Sean's confidence can be up and down in a game, in any given game, and even in a period of games. But what he does have is he oozes natural talent, and he has the ability to make quick points and get back into the game. But then he's playing Paul, so it's very, very tough to do that. Put a little bit of reverse on that shot when he was killing it. Bite into the wall.
Smart timeout there by Paul. Senses that Sean's starting to gain some momentum. Earned 3 straight points.
Coming in at 7 serves 12. 1 minute.
Yeah, Paul be very, very aware of that. He was 12-4. It's now 12-7. So Sean is starting to get back into the match.
That was phenomenal footwork there by Sean. Not easy at home to juggle that handball with your feet.
7 serves 12.
Oh, crack serve just behind the right short line. There's 3 points there in the trot from Sean.
As you can see, Tony, Sean's able to score points in bunches and in a hurry.
Yeah.
He was trailing 12-4, and you blink, and here it is, 8 serving 12.
Yeah, I know all about that. I had a 10-0 lead on him yesterday.
I wasn't going to remind you of that, Tony.
Yeah, I know all about it. Sean's trying to fake Paul down the right there. Great drive from Paul. Great get from Sean. Oh. Oh. That was a good rally. Great get, great gets.
That was a good call there by Tommy. I don't think initially you agreed with it, Tony. Maybe on the replay might have changed your mind.
Yeah, I think it was probably still up. You know, Sean would have had a chance, even though he had put himself in a very, very bad position behind Paul.
Sitting in here with Tony Healy, who appeared in the national final in 2003, played one of the great finals ever contested against John Bike Jr.
12 serves 8.
Unfortunately, that one didn't go your way, Tony.
No. Let's hope there'll be other chances.
I'm sure there will. Paul was able to keep Sean off balance there with that hook. It's one of the first successful serves we've seen down the left for Paul.
Yeah, he's moved even a little bit over more to the right. He's mixed it up a little bit.
He's hitting that ball so low off the front wall that requires so much precision.
Sean's coming out to cut off this second serve. Smart move there from Sean. You can see him moving.
Like I was saying though, Tony, what is going through these players' minds right now? You appeared in big finals and you've appeared in this final as well. Are you trying to treat this like it's any other match, or?
Yeah, I don't think the occasion is, especially in the second game, is getting to any of these guys. Oh, great rally there.
Incredible hustle here.
They're just playing as hard as they can right now. Probably keeping aware of the scores. You know, Paul wants to push out his lead, get close to the finish line. Sean's trying to get back into the match, which he seems to have done now, even though he's still a few points behind. He's making much more of a game of it. Oh, it's a bit early to be talking about trophy presentations yet.
Well, we've got a lot of other national championships being contested here as well, Tony. We watched David Steinberg defeat Dave Doman in a phenomenal 11-4 tiebreaker today to win the 50 singles. We've seen your fellow Irishman take home a number of titles here. I think about 30 of you came over here. Is that about right, Tony?
I think so, yeah, about that.
We
Maybe 30
saw
or 30.
Edgen Jensen defeat Chris Tico in the finals of the 35 singles, two
That's right.
games.
Yeah.
We saw the great Duxie Walsh
yeah.
defeat Mike McDonald in the finals of the 40 singles.
I may be corrected, but I think that's Duxie's first USHA four-wall title.
Congratulations to Duxie. Are you going to let us win anything, Tony, or are you going to take all our trophies home?
Well, let's see. Paul has won 3 on the trot in the singles. We're still in the doubles, so we'll be going for 3 in the trot and the doubles. But I think there's a few other guys in there that are
I hear you have
something
a tough
to say
draw
about
to that final, Tony. In
yeah,
that doubles.
yeah.
You're able to. You and Ricky McCann were able to defeat Alan Garner and Nelson Quintero this morning.
Yeah, we had a very tough match this morning. Alan Garner played great. They played a very, very good doubles match. But I guess it gets tougher every game. We've got 2 well-tanned Californians next, I think.
Those of us who didn't see the match this morning on the webcast, there was a questionable call there, Tony, at 19-all in that second game, a avoidable hinder that was ruled a replay.
Oh yeah, that wasn't avoidable. I'm sure of it. Ricky's got the scars to prove it.
But in any event, you'll be facing the winner of Dan the Hand Armijo and Tommy Little against Emmett Peixote and yours truly.
That's right, yeah.
So I'm sure you're going to have a hard time sleeping tonight.
I'm sure we can relax and let you guys bang it out and see what happens. We're looking forward to it.
Getting close to resuming play here in the second game of the USHA Four-Wall National Singles Championship, our 57th National Championship. Paul Brady to serve. We see Sean Lenning getting himself ready here. We want to once again thank Wyora for sponsoring this live webcast, being brought to thousands of you.
13 serves 8.
13-8 here. There's no let up in the pace either. This is a long tournament. Both players are in tremendous shape. Nobody seems to be getting tired. If anything, they're picking up their intensity.
No one in the world can hit that ball at that pace and that angle right there for that winning point. I'd be curious to hear, Tony, you get a chance to play with Desi Keegan and Owen Kennedy quite a bit, I'm sure, in Irish championships. And my former partner and I, or current partner and I, Dave Vincent, we're talking about the hardest hitters in this game. Desi Keegan receives a lot of notoriety for being the hardest hitter in this game.
Yeah, it's I guess it's up in the air, you know. In brief, like, Desi is the hardest hitter. If you set him up on the shot, nobody hits the ball harder, and there's no question about that. But Paul is probably the hardest hitter when it comes to consistently hitting the ball hard and playing hard. So there's a difference, you know. I think Paul is like, I suppose, similar to, it's a great kill there, similar to John Bike used to consistently hit the ball well and hit the ball very, very hard. Now Desi does that a lot too, but probably in off-balance positions and stuff like that is not as good as Paul is. But he hits it some whack all the same. Great pass shot there for Paul.
There's no defense for that point. Paul hit a laser down the right, followed by a crisp two-wall crack pass.
15-9-0, 16. It's
and
a
just
good
like
run
we
of
saw
points.
Sean run out 4 or 5 points very quickly, Paul's done the same thing to answer. Sean's going to take a timeout
Smart
here.
timeout there because, like I say, when Paul gets into the 15, 16-point bracket, it's going to be very, very hard to stop him.
He's looking to run this game out right here in this inning.
Yeah, absolutely. He's even staying on the court, you know.
Is he visualizing the next point, or is he visualizing the next 4 points in a row, Tony?
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not in Paul's head like that. You know, I don't know him that well, but
a lot of
I know that he's very, very focused, and in these situations he he stays very well in control, and he plays it point by point, but no matter what happens when he gets into these situations, when he's 15, 16, he always has the ability to pick up his game.
He's nearly a machine in there. I haven't seen him change his expression once. He came here for one reason, and that was to take home his 3rd consecutive USHA National Championship. Was that a little message there, Tony?
I don't know.
Okay, time's up.
I think Sean needs to he needs to fight really, really hard now. This is a vital, vital part of the match for him.
Paul's able to read both of those hooks by Sean there. Guided that ball.
Tough rally. Paul's driving him back now.
That's probably the worst call we've seen of the tournament right there by Tony Little. That ball was about 2 feet up.
It was, but I don't know if we've seen the replay. Sean didn't make a huge effort to get there, you know. If he had pushed forward a little bit on Paul, I've no doubt Tommy would have made the call quicker.
I think he assumed since that ball was hit right at Paul,
but it
about
certainly
3
wasn't
feet
flat.
high.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't flat.
He assumed that ball was going to be a replay as soon as it was hit. I happen to agree with him.
Oh, he's driving him back. Oh!
Shot of the match right there for Sean Lenning, somehow finding a way to stay in that point.
He's still working hard. He's not giving up.
Serious firepower there from
9 through 17.
Paul Brady.
Tough shot there. Sticks to that left glass. Oh.
Point.
All Paul had to do was hit the front wall there.
Yeah.
Sean was completely out of the point, having hit an off balance corner kill.
It just went so low. I think it caught Paul a little bit unawares. He was in there, he was in the right position, but he just couldn't get to it.
That's where I'd like to see Sean take maybe a half a step more and really step into that ball, roll that ball out. A little bit nonchalant there.
Yeah, it was a little half-paced effort. He's probably better off that it was a replay in that situation, because Paul was coming in like a train. Looked like a short.
We'll see if Paul appeals that.
He passed on the right.
Point. Eleven through 17.
Sean is still sticking in there. He's just flicking that ball up with ease as Paul drives it at him. Oh,
A smart shot there by Sean. That's a shot he can make routinely.
Seventeen serves 11.
17-11. It's tough on the glass again.
Point.
I don't know what Sean wants that. Clearly it was not a screen.
Just came off that right side wall. Yeah, Sean saw it, he just wasn't there, I guess. It was close.
Like we said earlier, Tony, though, these players feel like they can get to everything, and they usually do.
Absolutely, yeah. Sean gets some great gets. He's really, really good at
18 serves
free
11.
killing and picking the ball in there. Paul is just as good, but it just doesn't look as dramatic because he seems to be in control a lot more. Really close one there.
Sean hit a perfect return there, and it was still nearly rolled out
11
by
serves
Paul.
18.
11 easy.
Point.
That ball, I think, had a lot of natural and it just straightened out by the wall.
12 serves 18.
You don't see Paul Brady ace very often. We've seen him aced 6 or 7 times in this match.
Yeah, I think Sean is hard to read. Those serves are hard to read. And there again, we have a tremendous natural.
Side out.
didn't seem
Paul's
to face
devastating
Paul,
with that shot off the sidewall, back wall. It would take that ball with his right hand and drive it with so much
yeah.
pace.
If you watch if you got a slow-mo on that, you'd see Paul going right into the corner, getting really, really low and using his core strength to put all his body behind that shot.
Just hasn't been able to get that serve over the line consistently today.
Second serve.
We saw Sean run in on this last one. I think Paul might keep it to the side of all this time. There you go. Here's a setup. Sean drives it. Nice kill from Paul.
Beautiful shot there.
Sean was just a little casual, like, you know, okay, he can make a lot of those, but in these situations, you know,
19 serves 12.
This is where Paul's big match experience is really going to pay dividends for him. It's 2 points from his 3rd consecutive national championship. He's able to maintain that same focus and concentration as if it was the first point of the match.
oh yeah, he's really, really focused now.
You're not going to see Paul overhit or panic at all here. Interesting rally there, Tony. It looked like each player was trying to
outdrive
one another.
Yeah,
it wasn't the most beautiful point we've ever seen.
No, they were trying to outdrive, but yet the ball wasn't coming out of front court.
Replay 19 serves 12.
Good serve. See that reverse from Sean. Oh.
Point.
Certainly not a high percentage shot.
No,
particularly.
Paul was on the front short line. He was waiting for it. So here's match point.
20 serves 12.
I thought the serve was close. It looked like it just came back behind the short line. Paul rarely appeals those.
12 serves 20.
Sean's going to mix up something here.
I think we've seen those appeals disrupt the player more than help. See, Paul's very focused, rarely questions a call. He's going to take a timeout here, which surprises me.
Timeout call. 1 minute. We're coming back in at 20 serves 12. That's your second.
We're here at the 57th USHA 4-wall Nationals. We've come to match point here. Paul Brady trying to seize his 3rd consecutive USHA 4-wall National Singles Championship. Really asserting himself as the dominant player in our game.
20 serves 12.
Paul's looking for a big serve here.
Short.
Certainly had Sean going the wrong way there. Well short though.
Characteristic from Paul.
Looked like Paul just didn't get back quite far enough, hit that ball a little bit behind him there, Tony.
Yeah, he was a little off balance. He still went for it.
You'll see him make those quite a bit, though. So much strength.
Yeah, well, at championship point, it's always tough to make those shots, you know. There's always got to be, no matter what the score is, there's got to be a little bit of extra tension. Sean's just not capitalizing when he's inside. He's gone in twice now, but he hasn't made a point.
Paul didn't mess around with this shot, just drove that ball to wall. Didn't even want to give Sean a chance to pick up another one of his kills. So here we are again at match point.
3rd opportunity for Paul. Sean drives it back again. Oh, there it is.
Once again, Paul Brady's our USHA National Singles Champion. Was able to be pushed a little bit more than he has in the last 2 finals. Still prevails, though.
Yeah, it's a convincing tournament for Paul. Through in straight games. I guess that first game for Sean, that 17-18 was the closest anyone got. So it's a great achievement and a very, very convincing win again.
Once again, Paul's able to. Here we're going to listen to Vern Roberts, the executive director of the USHA. Vern's collected a number of these second-place trophies in his day, losing a number of finals to Nadia Alvarado Sr.
Sean, it's been a great year for you. Took over the #1 ranking on the US Pro Series, Championship Series. Fantastic week this week, beating Tony Healy yesterday. And a great match. You had Paul worried in that first game. Great plans. We're going to look forward to seeing you in the doubles. We've got a check for $3,000 for second place this week. Sean Lenning.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank everybody who was involved in making the tournament happen, of course. And that's it. You can't hear?
Step over here.
Sean's a man of few words.
All right. Just everybody who made the tournament possible. It was really fun, and thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Great year, Sean. Stay right here 1 second so we can talk you together. And first place, 3 years in a row, Paul Brady, current world champion, 3 times U.S. national champion, Paul Brady. We got the gold. He's got the gold plate and the $5,000 check. Come on over here.
I just want to thank Sean for a tough game. He's certainly one for the future, and I look forward to many battles with him in the future. Thanks to USHA and the university for hosting this, and thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you, Paul. Great match.